What's up guys, Zero That Trucker here, back with another video, and today I'm going to show you guys how to secure rolled wire coils. Let's get into it. We have rolled wire coils, and I'll give you guys a look at them right now, right there. And there are 7 of them on the trailer. You see they're loaded 2 side by side. In the front we have a single coil in the second row, and the last 2 rows are 2 coils side by side. I'll give you a look at it from the back right there. All right, and these are pretty simple to secure. We also have to tarp this one, and these coils are loaded suicide style. All right, and I think in a video of mine previously I showed you guys some eyes to the sky coils. Now suicide style coils get their name because if your securement on these coils fails, or the coil breaks free from the dunnage somehow, which way are these coils likely to roll? Straight towards the cab of the truck where you are. Okay, could possibly end your life or severely injure you. Okay, I've seen it happen before, unfortunately, and it's not a good day. It's not a good day for anybody involved or anybody around you when it does happen. So I'm going to show you guys how to properly secure these so you don't have to worry about anything like that happening to you. Let's see, anything I can show you guys before? Oh well, yeah, as you guys can see, I have 2 pieces of dunnage underneath each set of coils, and there are also, if I can get it here, 2 coil racks underneath each row here. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have a coil rack directly under each of these coils. As you can see, there's a coil rack, the metal piece right there you see, directly underneath that coil, and also on the other side directly underneath the coil that's on the passenger side. You do that down the whole row. Now this coil right here, the second one, also has 2 coil racks underneath it, even though it's a single coil by itself. It's no larger. Actually, let me make sure I'm not speaking on that. Nope, it's no larger than any of the other coils that are lined up here. It's the same size, but I'm still gonna put 2 coil racks under there, okay, because that just gives it more stabilization. Okay, but at a bare minimum, when you're doing these, every single coil, when you have it in this formation, needs to have a coil rack directly underneath it. Okay, not off to the side over here. It needs to be underneath the coil directly so it can help to stabilize it. But all you need to do for these are very simple. They don't require any chains, just straps. So I'll go ahead and get to securing this and let you guys see how that looks while I'm doing it. Okay guys, I'm gonna start off by throwing a belly strap through each of these 4 rows. That would be my first direct tie down that I do on these. Make sure that you're alternating them. Straps thrown. Next thing that I'm going to do is throw butterfly straps through the coils. I'm going to do it only on the coils that have one beside the other. So that one in the second row that's a coil by itself is not going to get one. I'll show you guys now. That's the first one right there, the butterfly strap. And you see how I started on the other side with the buckle for this butterfly strap, threw it through, wrapped it over top of the coil, came back around and through the eye, winched it down over here. Now you have that there for the purpose of helping to squeeze those two individual coils together, okay? So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other two rows of coils in the back that have two coils side by side. This single one doesn't need it because it's all coil all by itself. You don't have to worry about squeezing it next to anything else. So let me go ahead and take care of these other two. Guys, the next thing that I'm gonna do is throw some more butterfly straps, but these are gonna be horizontally. So instead of going over the top like those are, I've already started this one, so it's gonna be coming through here, going through the eye of the front set of coils, wrapping around the back to this secondary coil, coming back around and wrapping underneath this one, and I'll be winching it down on the passenger side. Right here, guys, is the finished product. Looks beautiful. Came out exactly the way that I was trying to get it to. So I'll explain everything because I talked you guys through it step by step. But I started off with the belly strap, okay? That's just strap going from the buckle straight over to the winch. Nothing fancy with these. And I did that on every single one of these rows, all four, okay? The next thing I did was the butterfly strap to squeeze the coils together from the top. So threw it from this side, and even with this, you're alternating your straps still. You can see, buckle, winch side, buckle. I alternated my straps all the way down. I do that on every load. I always alternate the straps. That way you have an even pull on both sides of the trailer. But back to the butterfly strap. So we went over from that side, threw it over, wrapped it over the top, went all the way across and brought it back through. Winched it down here, and make sure you put a twist in these so you guys can see that there's a twist in this strap. You always want to twist them. That will keep the vibration from happening. This load has to be tarped, so you won't really see the vibration anyway, but I'm consistent with all my loads, so I do it regardless of if I had to put a tarp on it or not. So there's a twist there, and then we have these straps that are squeezing the coils together from the side. So it's the same principle as the belly strap up there, where you're just doing it horizontally basically. So winch here, or I'm sorry, buckle side right here, threw it across the inside of the coils, wrapped it around, pulled it back through this side here, and then crosses. And now you want to make sure when you throw it on the other side, when you're bringing it back to winch it down, it came back through this side, and I go underneath itself to form that X. Okay, you can see that X that the strap made as I crossed it. You always want to make sure that the side is underneath itself. So this side here, underneath. Then you pull it across the other side and winch it down. So you see, belly strap, butterfly strap at the top, the horizontal one. As you can see, this is the side that's got the winch side on it. You see that X? Okay. Underneath it, underneath itself, winch down right there. Okay. And then did the same thing in the rear. Now, the other caveat that I got to mention for you guys is take note when I'm doing the horizontal butterfly straps, I have the straps oriented so that they're pulling in a direction. Okay, now this is the rear of the trailer, so I have the strap pulling towards the front of the trailer that way. So I started off with my buckle across here, wrapped it around, and on the other side it's pulling in the same area. So not just pulling back this way anywhere, you want to make sure that you also have your buckle and your winch downside matching. So you see that my buckle is right here. Now if you took a ruler and put a direct straight line across, this is the exact same spot where I have it winched down, just on the opposite side of the trailer. So not one ahead, not one behind, exactly where it is, straight across. That way you keep everything balanced. So I have the rear two coil sets pulling backwards towards the front of the trailer, and this front set of coils right here is pulling towards the rear. That way you have a pinch point basically, and all the pressure, the tension of both sides is pulling together, keeping everything nice and tight with these coils, keeping all of them squeezed against each other. That's what you want to do. So you want to keep track of that when you're throwing your straps. Don't just throw everything in one direction, all that way or all this way. You need to have it as even as you can make it, so that they're pulling towards each other, basically both pulling towards the center of the trailer right here. And here's a wide view again of everything. See where all the straps are situated. It looks really confusing at first. That's why I wanted to break it down step by step for you guys, so you could keep track of everything. Because if I just threw all the straps and just did it how I normally would do it, if I wasn't trying to show you guys, it would look crazy. It would be really confusing. So just do it step by step. You'll be just fine. Okay, now let's get a 360 view of everything, how it looks from the back here. Okay, now everything's already been winched down, so this is exactly how it needs to be. And I do my strap test. Now that one, maybe do a little bit, one more crank down on that one. And this one, yeah, those are all tight. Those are all super tight. So the last thing that we got to do with this is tarp it, and then we are ready to get on the road. Let's go ahead and get that done. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the steel tarp up on here. This load is short enough that I only need to use one tarp on it, thankfully. We need to tent tarp this load, and I'll show you how I'll do it for this set of coils. And it's going to start out by me pulling those corners tight to the edge to give the tarp some form, and I'll do the same thing in the back. All right guys, what I was doing when I said I wanted to grab the edges to give it some form, you see this right here, this barrier, or this border I should say. You pull on that, follow the D-rings along the side, because we got all the extra slack from the tarp right there. But you pull that on all four of your corners, that'll give your tarp that nice and sloped look right there that you see. That's what you want. So you'll be aerodynamic, and any water, say if it rains, that gets on top of that freight will just roll right off at that slope. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing in the back, and all I did was just take bungees on that D-ring right there and pull it forward, and I'll adjust that once I place the rest of my bungees along the tarp. You guys a close-up view of what I'm doing. So taking that border, just following that line, and I just hook my bungees right to it, and I just do that there, and we'll go to the other side and do the same thing, and then we can work on placing the rest of the bungees where we need to. Find that line, there, try to get it. I like to fold the excess underneath itself and try to hook at least one D-ring from the excess, just to make it a little bit more stable. Pull that forward, and now we're ready to go ahead and work and place our bungees the rest of the way. As you guys can see here, the tarp is rolled out nicely. Check where the company logo is on this side here. This is the driver's side, and let's go check on the passenger side for verification that the tarp is evenly placed. You can also look, it might not come through on camera, but there's that fold line right down the center of the tarp from where I fold it up when it's stored in the headache rack. I usually follow this line on the trailer all the way up and see if it matches with the center line of the tarp. That's a quick shot way of seeing if you're even, but we'll do it for you guys just so you can see. And looking right there, looks like that logo is right about in the same place on both sides of the load. So we are good to go. And like I showed you guys in previous videos, I start by bungeeing every other D-ring. So I won't go down the line and do this one, because your tarp will all start pulling over to the side that you're putting those bungees on. I do every other first on the first side. So this one, skip that one, this one, skip this one right here, do this. That way, when you get to the other side, your tarp hasn't moved and hasn't pulled all to the initial direction you were putting your bungees on. Then once you've done that on the first side, then you can place all the bungees in every other D-ring that you want to on the last side that you started on. So let me go ahead and place these bungees, and we'll come back once I'm set with that. Made it to the end. We're at the final piece of the puzzle to take care of this, and that's sealing up the tarp in the front and the rear, protecting it from moisture. So what we want to do for that, in addition to the bungees, we want to get ourselves a piece of dunnage and put that over the front end of our tarp, like so. Let's see if we can line that up just right. There we are. All right, you want to take that and seal off the tarp, and then you want to take a 4-inch strap. Forgot to grab it before I came over here, but you want to get yourselves a 4-inch strap, not a 2-inch strap. I know there's some guys out there that do it with the 2-inch strap, but the issue that can happen with the 2-inch strap is it won't cover up the full surface area of this dunnage. This 4-inch strap, as you can see, covers this piece of dunnage in its entirety. 2-inch strap will come up slightly short of that, and you don't want to have this piece of dunnage come from underneath your strap somehow and go flying back on the highway. That has happened to me before. Not my strap coming off the dunnage, but I was the guy driving behind somebody who had their dunnage secured with just a 2-inch strap, and it was in the rear of his trailer. It broke off while he was driving on the highway. Fortunately, I was far enough behind him that that piece of wood, his dunnage that he had on the back of his trailer, did not hit my tractor and cause an accident. So just cover yourselves, guys. Use the 4-inch strap. It doesn't take that much more time. It's not like it's a ton more labor to deal with using a 4-inch strap versus a 2-inch strap, okay? A 2-inch strap and a ratchet. Just use the 4-inch strap, and that way you don't have to worry about any problems happening to you with your securement falling off the back of your trailer. That's a nightmare. Fortunately, like I said, nobody got hurt with that one. So we want to throw that over our piece of dunnage, and then we'll go to the other side, winch it down, and then we will be ready to run if we are inclined to. All right. And yeah, that's, and a thing to do, make sure that before you actually start throwing your straps to winch everything down, make sure that you leave yourself a winch in the front and in the rear, on the passenger side or on the driver's side, whichever one you want, but just make sure you leave a winch available so that you can do this part of the process, okay? Because it would be very annoying to have to undo any of those winches up there and move all those around so that you can get one right up here. Just count them before you get started, or just leave one in the very far front and one in the very far back, and make sure you don't use it for anything else until you get to this point. And just wrap it up like you would any other before you winch it down, taking away all the excess. You want to leave enough of that strap down there behind so that you can wrap your winch spool around at least 3 times. So I leave a good amount of slack there, and I'll roll that up. That way your winch has something to bite onto. That is perfect. And as you guys see, I have some bungees pulling on the very front of this tarp here. That's to make sure that any part of the tarp that's not behind where this dunnage piece is isn't just flapping and blowing around in the wind like this as I'm driving down the highway. You want to tighten that down so that it stays right where it's supposed to while you're driving. So I'm gonna put that dunnage piece in the front, and you also want to do it in the rear, okay? Just like that. See how the entire surface area of the dunnage piece is covered. You can't even see it underneath this strap. With the 2-inch strap, some of it's going to be hanging out And you know, you got to be concerned possibly with it working its way out somehow. Like I said, I've seen it happen firsthand. It happened to me, being the guy driving behind somebody else when their stuff wasn't properly secured. Just use a 4-inch strap and eliminate that from happening to you. Okay, so we are completely set at this point, guys. We are strapped down securely. We are properly tarped. No moisture is getting in there. You see no gaps in that tarp. You can't see any of the product, none of the steel, just the tarp. So that is perfect. We are set to go. We're looking streamlined and aerodynamic. All right, guys, we're all completed. Hopefully me slowing that process down and showing you guys how to secure those coils step by step is going to help you. I know that can be really daunting to secure that type of load when you're not used to it. All those straps all over the place and you don't know where they're coming from. That's why I slowed it down and did it bit by bit so you guys can properly digest that. So hopefully you guys learned something. I'll check you guys in the next video. I appreciate everybody who watches, subscribes, likes, comments on the videos. More to come. You're that trucker out.